New shit. You're listening to WDRR, Dad Rock Radio, drowning you in nostalgia. Now without commercials because you don't get a break from your past. My name is Jonathan, and you're listening to The Traffic Jam on WDRR. Rock for when life flies by, but traffic doesn't seem to. We've got Wilco's I Am Trying to Break Your Heart coming up next, so kick back, relax, and rest your feet on the bumper on the car in front of you. And think of the summer Adam brought that bottle to that party. Started slowly at first, tasted like battery acid, burnt the back of your throat, spent an hour puking up a McDonald's value meal off the back deck. Told him it tasted great. It's 6 years later and it's an emergency room visit. Adam turned Avenue assassin, armed with a 30-pack of whatever was cheapest. He made a habit of turning his dad's Buick Skylark into an aquarium. Spilled it all over Easton Avenue, and this is how people will remember his name. This is how you will remember his name, and you don't think about him much anymore. He's a cautionary tale for when your kids who will one day be teenagers, and your friends who you will never be able to save. These days it seems like you're having to remember the name of more and more people you aren't going to be able to save. After that, we'll be rolling into Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit, taking you back to that summer where your clothes were caked in the smell of McDonald's and stale cigarette smoke on a 6-hour road trip because you heard Dave Grohl was working on some new shit. He was going to be playing it in this little bar off Indiana State Route 37. You heard it was the same town. Kinsey did all of his research, and you asked Lisa if she wanted to volunteer for a study after the show. She looks you in the eye and tells you any satisfaction a man can give her can be entirely attributed to the placebo effect. It took you 6 months to figure out what that meant. Kurt died that summer. Your 30-year reunion was all 401k planned, pop country songs, and photos of kids. You mostly sat alone at the bar, drank a Miller High Life, and wondered how everyone could have changed so much. Lisa brought you a beer, lit a cigarette on the patio, said she caught the Pumpkins reunion tour. You asked her what happened to everyone. She said nothing. It's just that when you're surrounded by assholes, you develop a tolerance for what their shit smells like. Closing out our set, it's The Clash. Should I stay or should I go? If you turn it up loud enough, you can still almost hear the revolution. You can almost feel the adrenaline before the first protest, before the first day job, before the first paycheck, before the first mortgage payment, before the first time you thought something was fucked, but you had bills to pay. If 14-year-old Johnny could see you now, he'd kick your ass. He'd ask if he could borrow money. He'd call you a sellout. He'd want to borrow your car keys. He'd remind you of everything good, decent, and free that once lived inside of you. How do you punish a kid who makes you resent what you've become? Lay the cat down in the cradle, scratch its head and convince it that it really wants to be there. Make sure the recycling goes out on time this week. Write a strongly worded letter to your state representative and wait on the canned response. Have another beer after the kids go to bed. This has been The Traffic Jam on WDRR. My name's Jonathan and I'm out of here. Keep your radio locked right here though. We've got Michael with Night Swimming coming up next.